They brought the cash out and were waving it around, you know, flexing, whatever, trying to attract babes. They meet some girls who they continue on with after they leave the club. These girls then tell them, oh, we want to go get pizza. Like, let's go to this pizza place. The girls have a specific pizza place in mind that they want these foreign guys who are traveling down to Joburg to drive to. You guys are smart people, so you already understand the rest of the story. You're smart people, you're not drunk, you're not waving your money around in the club, and so you already understand the rest of the story and what's about to happen. They pull up to the pizza place, somebody puts it to their head, and it's like, take off the watch, give me the money, da-da-da-da-da. Everything they had on them was stolen that night.
So traveling to Africa has its ups and downs. So in today's video, I will be reacting to people who have had horrible travel experiences to different African countries. Now, as many of you know, and I will continue to say, I've been to Kenya thus far on the continent. I absolutely love Kenya. I haven't had anything go wrong as of yet. But I always make sure I keep it in the back of my mind that it is possible, no matter where you are in the world, for things to go left. So I'm about to be reacting to these videos. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe before we get into it, and let's go.
I am so grateful and thankful to be alive. I spent a month in Nigeria and I almost died. Seriously. I don't know, malaria, typhoid, voodoo, black magic. When I tell you, I almost died. My father tried to kill me for money.
Wait, what? Okay, I'm not laughing because her father tried to kill her. I'm going to be sympathetic to that, but I'm trying to understand, like, okay, she sounds American to me, right? Now, I'm not sure if, you know, her father's Nigerian or she's Nigerian American, like what the situation is, but I'm just trying to understand why her father is trying to kill her, or why did he try to kill her? I need to hear more of this, yo. This is crazy.
I spent my 30th birthday there. Y'all, I'm laughing so that I do not cry when I tell you the amount of stress that I endured while on vacation. It wasn't even a vacation. I felt like I was finna go to the upper room. I have to take off time for work. When I say my body, oh my God, like I have a yeast infection from hell. I flew 20 hours, no medication, no antibiotics. Y'all, when I say I thank God that I am alive, like I've lost so much weight. I look sickly, like.
All right, that was a little bit too much information. We did not need to know all that. But I'm assuming based off what she's telling us, she just couldn't fully adapt to, you know, the Nigerian way of living. And that's why she felt like she was going to die. Not in a literal sense. She was basically saying her father, I guess, wanted to take a trip to Nigeria for the first time. And she felt like, oh, you set me up for this. Oh, you told me it'd be like this. But she ended up having a bad experience or something. But that's crazy. But the yeast infection, you could have kept that to yourself, sweetheart. You could have kept that to yourself.
This is the story of when I visited a slave castle in Africa and someone had to be rushed to the hospital. This story is crazy, creepy, and downright weird. I visited the Elmina slave castle, which is the largest and oldest slave castle in Africa. The tour started off good, but then got real dark real quick. They took us into both the male and female slave dungeon, the courtyard where the enslaved Africans were beat, where the female slaves were awed by governors and soldiers, and the door of no return. While in this tiny room, a lady on the tour immediately fell out and started to have a seizure. Then a blank stare covered her face and she started screaming and yelling, I saw a little girl. I saw a slave girl.
Sometimes people can get spirits that go into them. And I'm telling you, it's definitely possible because I've seen it firsthand, a spirit go into somebody. Now, I don't necessarily know the exact situation on, you know, seeing the little slave girl and all this. But all I will say is that it is possible that ancestors could be roaming around freely in places where they may have lost their lives, or, you know, just different things of that nature. Because as we know, a lot of people were killed in the slave dungeons. A lot of people never made it to America from the slave dungeons. You know, a lot of captured slaves that were still in Africa actually died before they even made the trip to, you know, America, Brazil, and other places, you know. So it is definitely possible for someone to get, you know what I'm saying, overtaken by some type of spirit or entity, whatever it may be, you know. And hey, that's some wild stuff right there.
This is the moment we all broke out crying because who did she see? Everyone was shaking, crying, and terrified. So we left the room and the employees called the ambulance and she was rushed to the hospital. This was the most creepiest and weirdest experiences I have ever encountered. Maybe the ancestors really were there with us that day. I don't know, but what do y'all think?
This is Zanzibar. So if you're like me and you really want to go to Zanzibar because of what you've seen on social media, then once you got there, you was catfish. That's what Zanzibar is. Like, literally, if you go back and look at those people's Zanzibar content, the only thing they really ever show is their hotel and the beach. Because if we being honest, that's the only thing pretty in Zanzibar is the beach and your hotel. Other than that, Zanzibar, it gives the trenches. It's very much underdeveloped. And so when I got off the plane and headed to my hotel, I was so confused. And this right here, y'all dead wrong. That is basically like a fish tank for turtles. It's stanky. You're literally in water filled with poo and urine of turtles. And it's so stanky. And I would never do it again, and I wouldn't even suggest it. To be honest, I just wanted to get the content, but I did not like it. I stayed there maybe like 5 to 10 minutes max, not even that. And the turtles will bite you. Like, them some of the biggest turtles I ever came across. And I just feel like y'all content creators definitely catfished us about Zanzibar, because this is Zanzibar. This is Zanzibar. This is what you don't see on social media, and I feel like I was tricked, to be honest.
All right, so there's a few things I can address in this video of this young lady. One is, what was your expectations? Did you only view just the beautiful side of influencers, you know, showing Zanzibar, or did you actually go into more thorough research of people, you know, kind of going off the beaten path and showing things that may not be the beaches and the fancy resorts and things like that? Because if you did that, I can literally go right now on my phone and find a whole bunch of content creators showing the real Zanzibar. And of course, you got your good and your bad everywhere. So I'm assuming that she just didn't do her research, you know, before she went. Now, I personally want to go to Zanzibar. I want to see what Zanzibar is like. I keep hearing good things about it, you know, and I'm also open to the good and the bad. You know, we have different travelers in the world. You know, some people go for the fun aspect, some people go for the knowledge, history aspect of it all, and you know, maybe she just went there to get photo ops and videos and, you know, do some influencer stuff, right?
Talking about travel safety, let me tell you about this robbery that happened to some people traveling in Joburg. First of all, luckily the people, it was not me, it was just these folks that I know. So I met these guys traveling in Cape Town. They were coming down from London, United Kingdom, and they were traveling from Cape Town to Joburg, and they were out at the club. I feel like any good travel story starts out with they were at the club. I had gone out with them the night before, but then this particular night where they were robbed, I stayed home. Maybe I stayed home because the higher power in heaven. No, I'm kidding. I stayed home because I'm just not somebody who's likely gonna go out twice in a row. I don't see why the club would need to see me every single day. It's just not an everyday type of activity to me. It's not an every week activity to me. It's not even an every month activity to me. I haven't been to a club in over 6 months and I'm doing just fine. They were every night we at the club while we're traveling type of people. So they were at the club and they were...
I'm gonna pause it right here and I'm just gonna give my thoughts and my observations just from the little bit that she shared so far. What I think is going to happen is they're going to be in the club, right? I haven't watched this video either. Let me preface this. I haven't watched the full video of this young lady talking about this incident. So this is my real time, you know what I'm saying, observation. All right. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to go to the club. They're going to be balling out of control, right? Probably bottles, a section or something, you know, a whole bunch of women around. 9 times out of 10, either somebody they meet at the club or somebody that they brought to the club with them that's a local is going to set them up somehow, some way. Now, it could either be a woman or man, but I'm going to say a woman is going to set them up because a lot of men we like to think with, you know. So 9 times out of 10, a woman is probably the one that's going to end up setting these guys up to get robbed at gunpoint. But I might be wrong, but let's continue to watch this video and see what happens.
They had done some sort of like financial transaction in cash and had a lot of cash on hand that day. Why would you bring a lot of cash to the club? I don't know. I'm not a big clubbing person. If I do go to the club, I would just bring my credit card, because if that credit card is stolen, you go into the app, you freeze the card, or you call the bank, you freeze the card. Bim bam boom, done. But they brought a lot of cash to the club that day. They not only brought cash to the club with them, these are my rands. I accidentally overpacked rands. They brought the cash out and were waving it around, you know, flexing, whatever, trying to attract babes. So they're trying to attract babes. They've got their, of course it was more than this, but this is all I have. Broke life. They got their rands, they're waving it around, they're having a good time at the club. So they meet some girls who they continue on with after they leave the club. These girls then tell them, we want to go get pizza. Like, let's go to this pizza place. The girls have a specific pizza place in mind that they want these foreign guys who are traveling down to Joburg to drive to. You guys are smart people, so you already understand the rest of the story. You're smart people, you're not drunk, you're not waving your money around in the club, and so you already understand the rest of the story and what's about to happen. You met some people you don't know, you put them in a car with you, and they're telling you, let's redirect, let's go to this pizza place at like 3 a.m. or something, or 4 a.m. They pull up to the pizza place, somebody puts it to their head, and it's like, take off the watch, give me the money, da-da-da-da-da. Everything they had on them was stolen that night. Fortunately, they were safe, but I feel like the very obvious moral to the story, no matter where you are in the world, this shouldn't even be travel advice, this should just be common sense. Don't do at the club. No, that's crazy. I can't imagine anybody doing that in New York and not having the same thing happen to them, or somebody doing that in Los Angeles or London and not having the same thing happen to them. But I think sometimes when people travel, they have this feeling like invincibility, where they're in a new place, they're feeling hot, whatever, maybe their currency kind of stretches further in the local environment, and they get a little bit silly. So that's our travel safety tip of the day. Don't do it. No cash at the club.
So basically everything that I said was going to happen is what happened. Yo, you can't go out the country and think things are just so sweet, man. You flexing money, you showing you got status. They already 9 times out of 10 know you're American. There's been a lot of things I've been hearing about Johannesburg and Cape Town when it comes to the violence, but that's not going to deter me from going to South Africa and experiencing the culture and the people. So it's your man Sham. I appreciate you guys for watching all the way to the end. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Got more reaction videos on the way, got more vlogs on the way. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Until the next one, I'm gonna see y'all.